Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Mekmek. This is Let's Play Black Witchcraft. We have a dimensional rift here. I need to point out right now that this is not something that you should this will change the story if we completely clear this. I'm just going to go through all this to show exactly what to expect from it. Rather, I'm going to give a little precursor taste of what happened, what change this brings about before I return to this save file and do it normally, and go on with the plot normally. Very generous to just give us Blood of the Spider Slayer immediately. So yeah, I have had thoughts, random writing thoughts that was going to be the topic, but I forgot that this game, while it is very rhythmic, I'm not quite the best at being able to play it at the same time as I talk about things, but oh well. So Persona 3, it has come out. It has reminded me of certain elements about the main characters that aren't... Persona games have this tendency to make the main character into a bit of a Mary Sue, let's be honest. There's one specific thing that's quite annoying. Yeah, this is basically where we had the mirror world, isn't it? We have a talent point. We might have several, I can't tell from here. Let's be fair, Reaper is my favorite, so I should be throwing my skills into it. But yeah, there's one specific point that stands out to me, and it's the sports social link. For some reason, they always like to say, wow, this new kid is really good, and oh dear. This new kid is really good, we're going to make him the captain of the sports team. Just please don't. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that they say the exact same thing in Persona 4. This doesn't happen in Persona 5, but that's because you're the absolute bad boy criminal that should have just gone away and died somewhere, but I kind of wish that we did have a sports team link for that, because I think it would be hilarious how they're going to justify you being the sports team captain in that one. Yeah, he's a real criminal, you know. He definitely, if anyone tried to beat us in a game, then he'd just shank him. Of course, that's not actually going to happen because the actual reason it's not going to happen is the sports team is the villain for Persona 5's starter arc. So obviously... Now then, the thing is that I did have my long arc of not being able to record anything, so I decided to get a Crunchyroll subscription and watch a lot of anime, and I'm noticing that there is actually quite a lot of these sorts of characters. It's a power fantasy. The reason why you have so many harem anime? Power fantasy. The reason you have so many overpowered, unstoppable forces? Power fantasy. I can see why these things are so common. It's just really annoying, but also then you've got characters like Leisure, who strikes the fear of hell into the main villain just by showing up, where he goes, "Oh, yep, I'm out of here. I need to go finish my plan before you can get your hands around my neck." But why is it that sometimes having extremely powerful characters it feels good, and yet other times it just feels like they're overpowered and not very much fun to watch? I watched the Reincarnated as a Slime anime, and I can't exactly say I recommend it because, well, for a start, all the female characters aren't exactly well written. Mainly just there because they look nice. And I'm not saying that I have a problem with good looking characters, I'm saying I'm having a problem with the characters whose only asset is that they're good looking. Oh, you go away! But yeah, why is it that characters like Leisure feel a lot less obnoxious than, say, the Slime? Than, say, Rimuru? I have a theory, let's see if I can get it out while still picking fights with extremely powerful enemies. I think that there isn't an inherent problem with having a powerful and strong character. The problem is how the narrative treats them. I think... to call on the works of the late great Terry Pratchett, Carpe Jogulum, one of the first that I actually read. actually has a really good example of it. How you can have characters that are... you have characters that are considered extremely strong by the standards of the narrative, but they don't feel overpowered. And that's based on how you challenge them. In Carpe Jogulum, the problem that Granny Weatherwax had was that she's always been looked to as the person to solve problems, no matter how unfortunate the problems are. You're always expected to have the answer and to solve everything, and that is very stressful, especially if you come across something that you just can't figure out how to beat, like extremely clever vampires. In this narrative, even though Leisure is considered extremely powerful, they just keep... The problem that she has is that she can't be everywhere and do everything. Okay, that's a much better ultimate skill to use on you. Like, the reason that we're suddenly in a tie again for the soul crystals is because they just, rather than trying to beat her, they just try to stall her out. And she's actually very vulnerable to chaos magic that screws with the reality. Like what the Doppelganger Demon did, or what the Crow Baron Demon did. Also, we're the only competent person around here, which is kind of making life difficult.
今までの情報をもとにこの時空間の規模を把握しました。
言ってみろ。
分析の結果、おおよそ40階層で構成されていると判断されます。
40階層か。少なくはないが、なんとか調べられそうな数だな。
Well, I'm gonna have a lot of time to get my thoughts out, aren't I?
400階層と聞いたことにして帰るのもありかと。
悩むな。
But I think the best example that I've seen from this did actually come about from my Crunchyroll time. Spy X Family. We have an extremely super competent super spy, master of 1,000 missions and all that nonsense, and he's just so incredibly unbeatable. But then they give him a challenge that actually challenges him, something that he can't properly beat. He has to adopt a little girl. And what makes this little girl extremely difficult for him to work with is the fact that she completely negates everything that he has. She is psychic, which means that he can't lie to her. He doesn't realize he can't lie to her. But no matter what he does, she is going to see through what he has. We also have the wife Warforger. So wait, we have Anya Forger, who's the little girl. We have Lloyd Forger, who's the super spy Twilight. His name isn't actually Lloyd, but heck if I know what his name actually is. Of course a witch would have good air combos, why wouldn't she? His wife is a office lady. I don't actually remember what her career is supposed to be, but she does it work in an office with other women all day, except that's just her secret identity. Her true identity is being the Thorn Princess, an extremely competent assassin. Probably because she's not very good at anything else, where well, is often misjudging her own strength or violent tendencies. And it's basically a lot of comedy of them trying to keep all their identities secret for their happy home life. And the thing is that they do properly challenge the characters. Lloyd can't ever get anything past Anya because she can read his mind. But the fact that he still manages to work past all of these, all of his problems despite Anya being able to see through anything he tells her, that's the interesting part. Also, it's the tennis arc where Lloyd is working with one of the other agents from his agency, where the enemies just keep coming up with more and more blatantly overpowered ways to beat someone at freaking tennis, but they're just so in sync that they pull it off, with the final round being an extremely intimidating, yeah, we own this tennis court, we've rigged it up to hell and back with equipment to help us cheat, and they just barely managed to pull through it. But then, so we know that this other woman is extremely competent. She challenges your to a tennis match, one-on-one duel to prove, yeah, I'm much better than you. Only for you to realize, oh wait, he learned all this from Yor. Yor is badass. First time she fails to serve because she ends up slicing the tennis ball in half with her racket. Actually, not half, into many little pieces because of all the strings in the racket. The second time, she just basically snaps it in half. She just snaps her opponent's racket in half with the force of the serve, so it's Mario Tennis. Like, they do actually challenge. I feel like the difference between your usual power fantasy of, yeah, I just reincarnated, I have superpowers, and all the women love me, that's just fan service power fantasy. I can understand why it's popular. People want to feel special for once, or read about people who are special. But they don't make for very interesting protagonists if they never get challenged by anything and they just have everything go their way all the time. I want to leave this alone. I think something that comes close but manages to fall in the line of, well, it still works out great. I need to focus on killing things. that didn't happen. That just barely went wrong. Oh, you... I was in just the wrong point with my... I need to remember that skill damage also increases the damage of my bleed effects, and since I use those so much... Where was my thought going? Yeah, I understand why they have power fantasies of getting the harem and all that. People do want to feel special or read about people that they can insert their own personage into. It's just not making very good story content. I guess if you want another case, you've also got Valvatores from Disgaea, because the idea is that he is actually very strong. He could probably win everything all on his own, because there is a DLC for unlocking him at his prime, and yeah, he was very strong. He had the ability to brainwash enemies that he defeats. That's just kind of unbeatable. But he doesn't, because he's fighting weakened, because he made a promise, and by damn he keeps his promises, even if it would have made life much easier if he didn't. How dare you eat all my mana? Man, what level am I even up to now? 9th floor. Yep, this is going to be a long series of episodes. Oh.
中心部でもないのに、これほど強力な敵を呼び出すのは初めてだな。
確かに他のところに比べてもっと強力な力が感じられます。
また興味が湧いてきたな。
Okay, do I remember how I fought this wolf? Very carefully is how I fought the wolf.
ここまでだ。見え見えだな。見えすぎてる。どこを見ている。ああ、見え見えだな。ああ、パンチキッター、見え見えだな。
That was quite a big chunk of my HP bar. I just kept getting my timing wrong on my attacks, I guess. I guess the idea that I was going to bring up, and might as well now, is, magical girls. I feel like they don't spend a lot of time struggling on the combat, but that's probably because they have other problems to deal with. And probably one of the most clever things that I've seen is a case where one of the villains decided, you know what? Let's just take advantage of the fact that these are still schoolgirls and get them in trouble with the school for being bad at studying. No, I don't particularly feel like giving you a chance to do whatever it was you were doing. You were making a heartbeat sound off. And that was just very intimidating. They can't stop us from stealing whatever supernatural energy it is that we're supposed to be stealing if they're being held back after class. And I don't know, I feel like that was a pretty clever plan. We need more ideas like that. But I think the one that actually stands out the most to me is Soaring Sky, where, yeah... So the main character, Sora, she is from a fantasy world where everything is up in the sky and all that nonsense. She decides to go to school because of that SpongeBob meme of, what do you do when I'm normally not here? Wait for you to get back. So she starts attending school, and the thing is, she is from a fantasy world where she was training to be an adventurer, captain of the guard, all that sort of nonsense, which means that when she tries out for sports, she is distressingly good at sports. Immediately aces absolutely everything, and everyone immediately wants to recruit them for their school clubs because Japanese school clubs are very cutthroat. I feel like in that case, because it doesn't actually matter to the story at hand, it's more entertaining for her to be hilariously competent at this rather than... Like, it makes sense why she's good at it, and it also doesn't matter in the slightest, so it's more entertaining than... It's more entertaining, it's more of a joke rather than a plot point of, yeah, I never have any trouble whatsoever. Anyway, that's the 30-minute mark, so until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around. I need to figure out how I do all these save files so I don't accidentally screw myself over.